Hi, I'm Talia, and this is Victoria.
Hi!
And we are two Tweedledems thinking about our recent high school experience, uni apps, and life ahead of college. We're recent IB survivors, and we want you to survive it too.
So for today's episode, we honestly didn't know what to talk about at first. Because we figured, well, we already talked about academics, uni apps, extracurriculars, the pandemic, blah, 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 blah. But we didn't want to just end up with like 9 episodes because like it's not an even number.
Yeah, 10 is just perfect.
10 is just a perfect number. And so, thankfully, we had Talia's grandmummy give us some input.
Yes, my beloved grandmummy.
Indeed. And she told us, or she asked us, I guess, hey, why don't you talk about dating?
Yeah,
and I was
thought,
shocked.
Why did we not think about that?
Because I am no expert on it. I am an expert on why I did not date.
Yeah, we're experts at being single. Come to us for that advice.
Okay, that seems so depressing, but really though, guys. So we just want to talk about just like the perspective of dating, or like the topic of dating from the perspective of people who actively decide to not date. Because
and we're happy about it.
And we're happy about it because it wasn't like as if no one pursued us. There are some. Duh, we're amazing. But we actively decided to not have any boyfriends during high school, and we found a way to be happy with that.
Yeah, of course.
You know, we just wanted to share that with you guys today. And of course, we'll have some tea in the middle of things. Yes.
How can we not?
So, therefore, let's jump into things. First question, I guess, to establish everything is, why did we not decide to have boyfriends?
Okay, so like Victoria said, it's not like no one pursued us ever. But the thing is, I felt like those people who did
were not enough.
Okay, yep. Like, they
yes.
weren't... Yes, I guess I have to agree. They weren't someone I would like to be with, especially long term. And the thing is, I did not feel like I was developed enough as a person in terms of getting ready in terms of skills for my career, for university, or in terms of my maturity, or being principled enough, and things like that. You know, all the serious stuff. I wasn't developed in those areas fully, or where I wanted to be yet as a person. And of course, I'm still not there yet. Yeah. But I am more ready now than I was before when I was still in high school, even though that was only a few moments ago. So I guess I just wanted to focus on my personal development and on enriching my mind, my heart, my soul first.
Okay, Talia. All right. That makes sense though. I guess like for me personally, in high school I had one goal and one goal in mind. Well, not just one goal.
Wow, Victoria.
But like, since a young age, I always wanted to get into a good university, and I wanted to focus on that because to me, it's like I want guys who are high quality. I need to be high quality myself.
But also the point of being at school is to do school.
Well, yeah, I guess so. That too.
Yeah.
That too. So like to focus on schoolwork, and for me also to just, you know, if I want my high quality man, I gotta be a high quality woman.
That's true.
Right? Like, I mean, okay, you don't...
You don't want to just demand for high quality men. And be like trashy little girls.
Yeah, like you can't expect like, I don't know, someone from Oxford, Cambridge to like you, and yet you're still kind of, you know, a rabbit, like still
and
hopping around.
Just academically, it's just as a person as well.
Yeah, with like rabbit teeth and all that, like you did. No, but like, you know, I want to, as Talia, develop myself first. And to me, I realized, okay, I have the capability to get into a really good school. I'll maximize that.
Yeah.
And focus on
have
myself.
More to offer yourself so that you can
also get really good people.
Exactly.
So
wonderful. I stand.
Yay! Michelle Obama was my icon. Okay.
She still is, isn't
she? She still is.
Isn't she?
Honestly.
Isn't it? What?
Isn't it? She's not it. Okay.
Anyway.
So, that being said, that's why we decided not to have boyfriends, basically because Talia says they're not enough. Okay, not just that. Well,
you said that for me.
Okay. No, but like, I guess like at the during high school, we decided focus on ourselves first before we jump into a commitment where we need to be strong for another person and we want others to be strong for us.
Yeah.
Right? Because we want legit people too.
Yes, of
Right?
course.
So to be legit, you must be legit-er. Anywho,
Yeah.
so that being said, this is an active decision in the sense that we did have some people who made advances.
Ooh.
It sounds so like archaic. Advances. But like,
Yeah.
just because we actively decided to just not have a boyfriend,
Mm-hmm.
it didn't mean that like anyone who kind of approached us, we were like, no.
What was that?
Or like, I reject thee.
Yeah. I reject thee with all my heart.
Get thee to another year or something, you know. No, we were still open to the idea. And so what we want to share as our second point is just because, let's say you decide, oh, I don't want to have a boyfriend or girlfriend yet, it doesn't mean that like any person who seems to show an interest in you right away just say no, because
Yeah.
number one, that's mean. Number two, you need to
You're-
kind of be open-minded.
But you're also limiting yourself from
Oh,
the
yeah.
experience of learning what you want or you don't want.
Yes.
Because how else are you supposed to decide that if you don't have any sort of experience?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, when people when people are like PDKT, like, you know, in the approaching side, like, of course they will try to show like the best side of themselves.
Right.
But you can still learn, even if that person is not being fully themselves, what you like when a person approaches you, and
Because even that differs between us.
yeah, exactly. So, Tali, do you want to talk about, you know, how to still be open to advances but stay self-aware considering your decisions?
Yeah, so I guess the thing is, when you're open to advances, you don't ever want to, for example, if you're not actually open to having a relationship at that moment, you don't want to kind of give the impression that you are.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes, like for example, for me in one of those moments, I didn't feel like I was giving the impression that I wanted to actually pursue a relationship just because I was cordial, you know. Because for example, let's say they were complimenting me and saying I was beautiful. I never called them handsome or said, wow, let's hang out together. No, but then when they asked me to hang out and if I was available and interested in whatever it was that he asked me to do, I wouldn't say no. And now looking back and hearing Victoria tell me and my mom tell me, yes, maybe I did give false hope and I led them on.
Oh, yes, she did.
And that was wrong of me, and now I realize that. But at the same time, I will not have fun just because I like don't want to date. You know what I mean? Like if someone's like, let's hang out, go do something exciting, I'm not gonna say no just because they like me and I don't like them or want to date them. But I also think everyone should just have that self-awareness that, oh, you know, this person's not actually interested in me, or, you know, you have to look for the little clues. But then at the same time, you also have to be aware enough to make sure that you're not actually hurting this person's feelings just because you want to engage in certain kind of fun activities with them.
Yeah. Like, for example...
That sounds wrong.
What? Okay. I wasn't thinking of it that way. That's nasty.
I wasn't thinking
Fun
of-
activities. Very fun.
Oh my god.
Sorry.
I'm just worried for people.
Sorry, children.
That's not what I meant.
Okay, but so I guess in that idea of false hope, of course there are some cases where people give false hope and it's like so obvious, like, oh my gosh, you're such a terrible person for doing that.
Yeah.
But like in Tali's case, honestly, she didn't realize that she was giving false hope because it wasn't one of those
Because
obvious
to me,
cases.
if someone did that to me, I wouldn't think, oh, this person is actually agreeing to date me or something like that. But
Yeah.
I guess you also have to be aware that someone might
get the wrong
impression. Exactly.
Yeah, because I guess like for example, in let's say if someone kind of gives you a sort of clue that she likes you, right? And you're okay with being friends with them, but you're not okay with like being dating sort of thing. And so let's say you do reply to their texts, but you also need to be aware, like, don't reply to it immediately every single time and engage in like such a long conversation until 1 a.m. in the morning. Of course that will give the wrong impression. Or let's say he or she asks you to hang out. Yeah, sure, it's fine because you guys are friends, but you have to hang out every single time until 10 p.m. at night. That's kind of a date. You know, you need so you need to be aware of yourself and like show that you still want to be friends, and make it obvious that it's just friendship, you know. If let's say a person asks you, hey, you know, want to go out, and you really aren't that interested in this person, you could just say, oh, I'll take a rain check, you know.
But to be fair though, I did kind of say to this guy that we were friends. Like, I friend zoned very hard.
I guess so, but like some
people just ignore those things.
Yeah, and so you just need to be aware of yourself and be aware of the person across from you and see how they're reacting, and whether it coheres in their brain, you know. And honestly, that being said, just because we were self-aware when like people approached us, we were also self-aware when we started to have crushes on other people too.
Yeah, I can't relate.
Well, okay, you
not
can't
to real people. I mean, yeah, real
fictional
people,
characters.
Not fictional characters. Like, celebrities don't count because
I guess so. Yeah. So, like, if, for example, let's say, like, because a crush doesn't mean that you're in love with someone. Like, when you have a crush on someone, you're like, oh, okay. Like, yeah, I know.
Delightful.
How delightful. Because it kind of shows, okay, I guess maybe this is my type. Or, like, this is what I'm looking for in a dude or something. And that's totally fine. No problem. And I think, honestly...
What are you investigating?
Oh, the mic isn't connected to the thing.
It isn't?
It isn't!
Pause.
Hold on. Okay, we're back. Never mind. Nothing happened. I was just... I got distracted.
Yeah.
We're fine.
Yeah.
You can hear us.
Yeah.
Okay, we have made sure of that. Okay, back to story. Yeah, so like when, let's say you have a crush on someone, like, and you already decide to yourself, I will not have a boyfriend. It doesn't mean you can't have crushes on people. So it's fine.
No, you're still a human.
Yeah.
With feelings and emotions.
Yeah, it just makes it so, like, you know, I can't, like, I have feelings for you, but I can't pursue it because I have bigger things in mind.
So dramatic.
But, like, okay, it is dramatic. It's high school, duh. But, like, you know, the nice thing is that, honestly, you kind of get to know what you like and what you dislike, you know, and it's fine.
Yeah.
So, moving on, we have been single for, like, the past 4 years of high school. In fact, our whole lives, maybe.
Yeah.
And honestly, like, there's this perception that, I guess, not perception, but like these days, there's lots of the idea of, oh my gosh, I'll feel FOMO if I'm single and my friends are dating, blah, blah, blah. So we decided to talk about how to find self-worth even when you're single.
Yeah.
You know? So how did you find self-worth?
I mean, for me personally, I don't really have FOMO, and I'm very antisocial, so I don't mind being alone. But in terms of finding my self-worth, because I guess you sometimes feel like, oh, what would it be like to have a boyfriend? What would the experience be like? How would it change my high school life or whatever? But for me, I try to find my self-worth through following my passions and really investing in things that would help me later on in my life. Whether it be in terms of skills, character development, or just very specific practices or aspects of work in the field that I'm interested in.
Yeah.
And I think by figuring it out that way and having successes but also challenges and setbacks and learning to realize, I guess, that I can actually overcome those things and that I am capable. Like, I found my self-worth in that. So it's not even the project itself that I find my self-worth because that project was successful.
Yeah.
No, I found my self-worth because I could accomplish that project in spite of all the challenges. So it was more of from a character building perspective, I guess. And that made me feel less alone or insecure being alone, especially knowing that some other people are dating. And I didn't, like, it was never really a worry of mine because I had that other outlet to show my passion and love.
Yeah, for sure. And okay, in my case, I guess, like, similarly to you, I would say, like, the friends that you hang out with play a really big role in whether you feel like you want to have a boyfriend or not, or a girlfriend or not, or whatever.
That's a good point.
And so the friends that I hung out with, even if they did have like a boyfriend, it was very low key. So like the world wouldn't even know of it.
So it wasn't like in your face.
Yeah, and like there would never be like, oh, she's not sitting with us today because she's hanging out with her boyfriend. Like, no, I never had that experience. So I never felt the need to date just so that I can be seen as socially acceptable.
Right.
And so in my case, where Talia kind of threw herself into projects, I just threw myself into being the busiest person I could be.
and like, this wasn't us avoiding a problem or something.
No, it's just to fill time.
Yeah, but also it's because it is something that we actually enjoy doing, and I think at this stage in our life, or that stage in our life, I guess,
we don't regret it.
Yeah,
we're quite happy.
The thing is, like, it was something we preferred or would have preferred over having a boyfriend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in my case, I really focused on getting really good grades and throwing myself into my extracurriculars and investing my time in club members and the other people around me that I interacted with. And so for me personally, that really gave me a sense of self-worth, because even though I faced many challenges, and of course, you know, it's always hard to try to balance so many things at once and work in different clubs and blah blah. I found the self-worth of like, hey, you know, I'm able to face all that. I was able to push through that. Or, okay, I really wasn't able to solve that conflict as neatly as I wanted to, but eventually I was able to get over it. So those mini successes, I guess, even though maybe they weren't the most successful things that I've accomplished, it shows me, oh, this is what I can do. And it gives me the sense like, okay, I am improving, I am growing as a person, developing.
And I guess through doing this and learning to be more self-aware, self-assured, you realize that you're actually tackling lots of the mental, spiritual, emotional baggage that you have, and like you're getting rid of it, so unpacking everything, and that will help you become less of a burden or dead weight in a relationship. Because you don't want to just spill all your baggage onto someone else, because they too have their own baggage, and you would not enjoy it if they spilled all their baggage on you. So you kind of want to have it fair and have equal footing in the relationship.
For sure. And of course there's a joy in seeing like, I did this without any man. Hello.
Of course.
No, because okay, here's the thing, right? Like I guess like this kind of goes back to like why we also decide, or why I decided to stay single, is because like I didn't want to be tied down to like another person per se, and like having to carry his emotional baggage and also give him my emotional baggage, right? And it's very tiring because it's a special commitment. It's not just like friendship, right? You need to spend time, and you need to, you know, really invest time in them. So there's jealousy.
And they're also trying to figure themselves out at the same time.
Yeah, so it's just
so you're not really your own person yet at that stage.
So could you imagine when you're not like, you know, yourself yet, and yet you're still trying to balance all these extra things? Like, oh my gosh, it's too overwhelming. At least in my case. I mean, if you can do that, that's wonderful.
Wonderful. We applaud you.
Yeah, but for me, I just couldn't. So.
Oh, and we weren't being sarcastic. That was genuine.
That was genuine. So it was nice to find, oh, I could do this myself.
Yeah.
And knowing that I am much better than I was before, it's like, okay, I'm getting somewhere. And by the time that I am indeed ready to date, and able to manage all my other blah 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 stuff, you know, I wouldn't be throwing on my boyfriend excessive.
You would be sane.
Yeah, I would be sane. He would be sane.
Yes,
and that's what matters. Because relationships, you also don't want to just, you know, have them as your emotional trash can. They're your boyfriend or your girlfriend.
They have to be more than that.
Yes.
More to the table than that.
Like fun activities.
What is wrong with you?
Okay.
So alarming.
Moving on.
Yeah, keep this PG, y'all. Okay.
Okay.
Are you stable now?
I am stable.
Okay, liar. Okay, so Victoria. I want to test how stable you are.
Okay.
By asking you, what your thoughts are on other people dating.
Ooh. Okay.
Because, of course, it kind of sounds like we're judging people who are dating at this point.
We aren't.
But we aren't. We're just talking about our single life.
Yeah, and like our observations of people who are dating.
Yes.
The world of the dating. So, okay, so Talia's asking me this because to Talia, she's like, she sees me as more informed than she is.
Yes, because I just distance myself from everything and everyone.
She's a hermit.
I am.
So
I'm informed about the world, though.
Yes, so I guess from hearing from some of my friends and just seeing at school or like people our age, I guess there are 3 types of couples in high school. One is the type that is like pretty mature in the sense that they can manage dating and still maintain relatively good grades and still maintain their friendships to a relatively good extent. And that's just wow.
Sorry, I'm tired listening to that. So it just seems like a lot of responsibility.
Yeah, but like some people can manage that, and that's wonderful. I really admire those people because I am not like that. I'm not ready for that yet. And with those people, they just seem to have a balanced relationship. The relationship doesn't burden them. It only makes them bloom into becoming better people. And that's just always heartwarming to see because on the flip side, there are people who you're kind of like, oh my gosh, like it's kind of toxic. Like, it's quite sad. Like,
it's so funny how I'm acting like I know who you're talking about, but I have no clue.
Okay.
Yes.
So like there are some people who their relationships are toxic in the sense like maybe one person is demanding more from the other person and he or she himself isn't giving much. There could also be those situations where they are so into each other but it causes them to be like, you know, against the world, like Romeo and Juliet, and it just ends up doomed. Or
in these episodes. I mean this one in particular actually.
And then there are some people who I guess they kind of
your sound effect is already alarming me.
I'm sorry, it's just sad. Like period. No, like it's just sad because it's like, oh my gosh, you guys are so young, like slow down a bit, you know, because there are some people who move way too fast and then they end up hurting each other because they're just not ready for that level of closeness yet. And sometimes they lose their friends because of it, or their grades suffer, or lose their own minds. And like when they break up, it just gets ugly, blah blah blah. Yeah. And then there's like the third type of couple, which is kind of in the middle, where it's okay, but you know there are some insecurities. Maybe one aspect of their lives are kind of bumpy, like oh yeah, with friends and boyfriend or girlfriend everything is fine, but grades are kind of iffy,
right? Or
you know, that's just like the nice middle. And so from that, I realize how hard it is to maintain a stable relationship that is healthy and can still be beneficial for me personally in a time like high school where I'm still trying to figure myself out.
Yeah.
Not that dating is terrible, no. But for me personally, I'm like, oh my gosh, I would just get so distracted, I would be so confused, and I wouldn't get stuff done.
Yeah.
Right? So
that's true.
I think that's another reason why I personally didn't decide to date, because I wasn't ready to sacrifice the things that some of the people that I know had to sacrifice. I mean, if you're okay with sacrificing time and effort.
We obviously realize that relationships take sacrifice and compromise.
Yeah.
But at this stage, we're not ready yet.
Yeah.
And we will be someday.
Hopefully. But for now, no. And that's totally fine.
We want to be a bit selfish right now.
Yeah, because of course it seems nice, you know, on Instagram they're holding hands and watching a movie, blah blah. And like you kind of feel like, oh, I'm lonely.
Sulking in a corner.
But you know, in the end, it's like, well, you realize that they look very Instagrammable, but they also have to sacrifice a lot to be there.
Yeah.
So with everything that looks good, there's always a price to pay, I guess.
Yes.
Right? And it just depends, are you willing to pay that price or not? So yeah.
So awful. Are you willing to pay that price? Like sacrificing someone or something.
But yeah, you know, that's just my thoughts.
Yeah.
It's cute, but there's lots of stuff
understand
involved.
Where your observations come from.
Indeed.
Okay.
So, okay. That being said, we've stayed single for most of our lonely lives. And
All
so,
of my lonely life.
but like, because we have been open-minded to other people's experiences, like getting secondhand knowledge from them, and also just like from being open-minded to people we have had crushes on or who have
Pursued us
to some extent. This is not like a definitive list.
Yeah, of course. And this is just a very small, tiny bit. And it's
Yeah.
not in any order of importance.
Yeah, so we decided to kind of just like spill tea and like get to know each other's list of like the top 3 things that each of us want in a dude, a guy, a fella, a strapping young lad.
3 things, not top 3, but 3 things.
3 things.
Yes. I guess one of the things is I would love for someone to just be supportive of
that's
me,
important.
but not in like, oh yeah, okay, you can do whatever you want. But then if I'm successful or more successful than him in terms of worldly standards, okay, because other things are harder to quantify. Yes, so if I am more successful, I don't want them to feel insecure in that sort of situation. I don't want to feel like I have to constantly assure them that they matter to me and that they are a priority in my life as well. I don't want them to put me down because they want to be above me because they're a man or because they want to have this sort of social status. Yeah, because I would be supportive for them if they were more successful than me. I would be supportive for them if they were struggling at that moment and not, being successful or whatever.
That's nice.
Yes, so I want that kind of mutual support and respect for each other's dreams and passions.
That's good.
And no jealousy, please. Like that.
That's important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another thing is I kind of want, not kind of, but I really want.
Really wants.
To have, is she fine?
Keep going.
Okay. Someone who has high intellectual capacity.
Good for you.
Yeah. So I want them to be informed about the world around them, have critical thinking skills, not be ignorant, because I want to be able to talk to someone and be on the same page and not feel like I'm lecturing them or explaining basic things to them.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to feel that I am wasting my time when I'm conversing with them. I want to feel that they are contributing to my knowledge, to my experience, to my perspective as much as I wish to contribute to theirs. And that's not to say that we have to have the same exact passions, the same exact knowledge, because that means we wouldn't necessarily contribute to each other. But I want to be able to talk about things like literature and be supported in that and not feel like I'm boring them to death.
Yeah.
And of course that doesn't mean, oh, this person has to be an actor or an English literature major, whatever. No, of course not. But I want them to have the capability to explore philosophical, deep, challenging, controversial topics with me. Especially for a long-term relationship, because the small talk won't cut it.
Yeah.
Of course not.
For sure.
Yeah. Something else. I can't think of something else yet, so why don't you, talk first?
All right. I'll
Yes.
give my 2 and then we'll go back to your 3rd.
Sure.
Okay. Number 1. Of course you want, or not you, I mean me.
Yeah.
I want someone who knows what he wants.
Yes.
In this, okay, that seems very vague. Okay, in the sense that isn't needy of like approval from other people and like, oh, is this okay? Is this not? Just like know what you want.
You want them to be self-assured as well.
Yeah,
right?
self-assured and like, it doesn't mean like, impulsive and just go.
But have ambitions in life.
Have ambitions in life and like have a direction, right? I don't want someone who's just mysterious even about their feelings and like doesn't know what he feels about me or like doesn't know what he wants, you know? You want someone who's clear.
Exactly.
Because if you're mysterious and I'm like, I have to guess do you like me or not, then you're wasting my time.
Yeah.
In a way, because it's like
It's true.
I'm trying to be emotionally invested in this, and I know you're taking it seriously too.
Yeah.
But I can't handle this limbo you know?
Yep.
Like, I need to...
Understandable.
As you want to feel self-assured in this relationship, I want to feel self-assured in this relationship
yes,
too.
Of course.
Right? So that is like one of the most important things. And also to have ambitions in life. To not just be hanging around and like doing nothing and, you know, have something to do.
That doesn't mean everything's going to be smooth sailing.
Of course not, but like have a direction, have a plan in mind. Of course, that plan will change.
Goals.
Yeah, it may change, but at least there's like, okay, we're going somewhere, right? Number 2 must be
the suspense.
The vibe check.
The vibe check.
Okay, vibe check is so important.
Explain.
Because, okay, here's the thing. There are so many stories of like people like who break up, but how you think, oh my gosh, they're both so nice, they're so wonderful. How could they break up even though they didn't get into like a big scary fight? Vibe check, okay? Because just because you're nice to each other doesn't always mean that you speak on the same frequency or work on the same frequency or understand each other on the same frequency.
That's kind of similar to what I was sort of pointing out in my point about intellectual capacity. Because you want to feel like you're equal again. Yeah.
And I guess like in that sense, it's kind of a subjective thing to see if you click with a person.
Yeah.
For me personally, it's your big brain. Are you big brain or not? No, because here's the thing. Like, I don't need you. Like, for Talia, like, she wants someone who's like very insightful and philosophical. Like, I don't need that. I just need you to be able to follow along without me dumbing things down.
Yeah.
You know? And like, like to me, it's like, I don't care what's inside your brain, but if you're 100% and I'm 100%, that's all that matters. Because, you know, maybe the contents of like your skill set and what you did is probably different from me.
Yeah, of course.
Or it could be the same as me.
That doesn't mean it's any less valuable.
Yeah, because I get to learn from you and you get to learn from me too.
Exactly.
And the thing is, like, I want an equal level of brain capacity. Because if it's like kind of unequal, it seems a bit sad because eventually there will be the tendency for one person to kind of look down upon the other person, and the other and the person who isn't as big brain will feel like, oh no, you know, and it's just that sense of inequality.
Yeah,
I personally feel awkward, right?
I can sense it.
And the thing is, like, I'm the sort of person who, like, I'm simple. Well, no, I'm not simple.
Why are you so exasperated?
I'm not simple. I'm
complex.
I'm complex, but I'm a bit simpler than you.
Sure.
In the sense that, like, you know, I don't need you to be like, you know, a Shakespearean sort of dude.
Hey, I never limited that.
Okay.
My options to that.
Yeah. Like,
would I stand? Yes, I would.
Of course, right?
Yeah.
But like, to me, it's like you know, just give an effort to try to understand what I like, and I'll give an effort to understand what you like. The nice thing with an equal brain capacity is we will have the ability and capability to kind of understand why the other person has this interest that's different from you.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Well said.
Well said. Okay, did you find out your third thing?
Okay, there's too many, but okay,
yes.
So I was kind of debating, okay, on a basic level, like, of course you want to have the same morals, principles, whatever. So I'm not gonna get into that. But something that's very important is that they know how to cater to your needs emotionally. Because I think in terms of guys, I feel like, I don't want to make a generalization, but guys aren't very good with understanding emotions, especially with girls, you know, because they're so complex and they change their mood swings. I understand. It's very hard.
Especially for you.
Yes. Fact. So I need someone who's gonna understand when to leave me alone, not be controlling in the sense of, oh, you have to talk to me or report this right now, or things like that. Like, I want to have that sort of freedom and the trust from their end to that I will figure it out and then I'll come back when I'm ready. Because I think that's important, because I'm not the kind of person, like, I want to be left alone sometimes. I can confront people and I have no problem doing that, but if I'm very mad, I think it's better that I just walk away first rather than lashing out at you and then regretting everything. Yeah, so I need someone who can understand all my emotional imbalances, because there are very many of those.
Yeah. Good luck. But okay.
What does that mean?
What do you
True.
mean? Well, whoever wants to pursue you needs all the luck he could get.
Yeah.
Like, number one, in like impressing you, because
High standards.
high standards. Number two, you got in handling whatever
Yes.
you are.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. What's my third thing? Okay.
What is it, Victoria?
Okay. It kind of has to do with vibe check again, but like
In a different way.
not just big brain.
Okay.
Well, okay. Here's the thing. Back to the big brain thing. It doesn't mean that like like I will not.
Are you trying to justify yourself? You don't need to.
Okay,
Fine.
but like here's the thing, like if you have like a certain brain, you also want someone who has like a similar brain, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like you don't want to have to dumb things down and you don't want to feel inadequate.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, get it.
Yes,
okay.
we get
so
that.
next part of vibe check. That is very important. Not just in the sense of like, principles, morals, big brainness, but also I guess like honestly, whether you can hold a conversation with them.
That's so important.
Okay, here's the thing. Okay, there are so many people who are big brain in this world who have like similar brain capacity, intellectual capacity, insightful, philosophical, blah 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 blah. But it doesn't mean that you can always have a conversation that's enjoyable with them.
Yeah.
Honestly.
You don't want to be checking the time to see when they're gonna leave you alone.
Yeah, and you also don't want to feel like, why is this a competition?
Yeah.
Right? Because when I guess like that's the kind of like the awkward thing when both people are big brain. You will kind of have like the competition to see like who's more big brain, even though you're like the
so it's
same.
kind of like understanding you emotionally as well, I suppose.
I guess so.
Because it's like you need to understand when it's time to stop in the competing area, when it's time to challenge each other.
Exactly. And like the whole idea of like being able to talk, it also kind of has to do with like, do you get my weirdness? Because
Yeah, that's gonna be a difficult part with Victoria. She's insane.
I'm quirky.
But I love it.
Yeah.
So someone else will too.
Yeah, no, because once again, so many people in this world seem so wonderful for each other, but why do they break up? Well, because of some things like vibe, which is like you can't force it, Like, that being said, it doesn't mean that we have to have the exact same interests.
Right.
But we need to be able to connect even if our interests are a little different, Like maybe having some interests that are similar could be nice. But even let's say both of you are film junkies, right? But like the way you see film is like totally different. Like let's say
that would just be interesting.
That would just be
would add insights to your life.
Right? Like you want to be able to vibe. But like if one person is only like caring about like how hot the actor is, and the other guy is and the other person is focusing on the technical aspects of the film, and they just can't stand that about the other person, well, it won't work, even though they both like film, right? So there has to be like an I guess in a sense there needs to be a similarity, even though let's say there's a different approach. There needs to be a similarity in like what both people are okay with. Like what are the bounds of like the conversation in that sense. Like as I was thinking, I was like, conversation is so important, because like there are so many wonderful people in this world.
Yeah.
But the thing is, at the end of the day, when you go on a date, what do? You talk.
Yeah.
Unless you're naughty. But you talk mostly.
Okay, get over that.
I'm sorry, I can't get over when you said fun activities. It's ticklish.
Oh, golly.
Okay, so those were 3 things, not in a particular order. So, to help people visualize what we want, because it seems so abstract.
Yes, lastly. Yeah,
Lastly.
we just want to kind of give you an idea of celebrities that might represent some of these desires. Victoria, why did you make that face? Are you having weird thoughts? Okay. So, for example, in terms of intellectual capacity, the love for literature, things like that, and just
understanding,
yes,
emotionally secure.
I don't know him personally.
Well, I don't know. He seems like the type.
He seems like the type.
Okay.
Anyway.
Who?
Tom Hiddleston is a great representation of that, because I just love hearing him talk about literature.
Yeah, and reading poetry and stuff.
Yes,
yeah.
I mean, I do that probably too much for my own good. I have slightly memorized some of the things.
Okay.
For the poetry, not talking, obviously.
Yeah, okay.
Sure. What?
Keep going.
Anyway, yeah, so he just seems like the kind of person who can teach me a lot, but not in an arrogant sort of like he's telling me what I should think kind of way.
Yeah.
And he seems very kind, nice, generous with his knowledge in time. I don't know, he just gives me those vibes. Doesn't he seem like a pleasant guy to you?
I guess so.
Seems very
What
kind.
a nice chap.
Yes.
Okay, in my case, I can't narrow down to just like one celebrity.
Who are the four?
Because I'm complicated.
Yes.
Like, complicated, but like, yeah. Okay. Simple but complicated. Okay, so who was it? Okay.
Daniel Craig.
Okay, Daniel Craig. In the sense of the way he dresses up and looks very
Very
put together.
dapper.
Very dapper. Very put together.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't need you to be wearing a tuxedo every single day. That kind of freaks me
I
out
wouldn't
too.
complain.
Oh, okay, you wouldn't complain. But like, I would kind of freak out if like I'm going to the pool and like he's wearing a tuxedo.
Okay, that's rather odd.
Right? Okay. No, but like just the sense of being put together. You don't need a six-pack or anything.
Okay.
Just like be neat. because I'm not the most stylish person, but I'm preppy. You know? And I don't want to go with someone who's just gonna wear a t-shirt and shorts everywhere.
I like Christopher Plummer as Captain Von Trapp.
Okay.
Yes.
Physically.
Physical. Are you stable?
I'm sorry. Okay. Okay. Other than that, him, Daniel Craig, mixed with this character from K-drama, from the K-drama True Beauty. His name is Suho, and the reason being is that he is like culturally he's probably acceptable to my parents because like they prefer me to like date someone within my culture. Because it's, I guess, like, I understand where they're coming from. There's, like, a similarity in values and stuff. So I totally get that. And he is smart. I like smart people.
Okay.
And mixing with that, Elon Musk's crazy humor.
Okay.
Which is, like, very, that's so random. No,
random.
but, like, his...
Why do you watch videos of Elon Musk?
He was on SNL. It was good.
Okay.
Like, I found it so funny. No,
Okay.
I like people who can be weirdly smart. Like
Like
smartly, intelligent, but weird. Like me.
Wonderful.
Wonderful. So that was it.
Yes, guys. So
Hope you
we
enjoyed.
kind of were a bit out of control. We had a bit too much fun, maybe.
That's fine.
Yeah, but it's fine.
They
I
must
hope
have
you guys-
enjoyed it.
Yes. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it as much as we did.
Yeah.
And yeah. I mean, this isn't really teaching you stuff, but it's just sharing of experiences.
Yeah.
And we are
Two Tweedledums thinking. It seems contradictory to what Tweedledums are.
Doesn't it, Victoria?
But honestly, we are outliers.
We are.
Those are our thoughts for today, and we hope we got you thinking. Not too much though, otherwise you won't
Not.
listen to us anymore. My name is Victoria.
And my name is Talia.
And this is Two Tweedledums Thinking.
See you Tweedledees next time.
Bye!